Pine Boys, crushing, I have to say. Incredible so far. Thank you guys again so much. Thank you all so much for watching. We have some great folks in the chat hanging out with us. An old friend of the show, former crew member, Tyler Ruvo. Thank you so much for stopping by and supporting. We miss you. We hope you're doing well. Michael D'Agostino of Phenomenon coming in hot with a UFO question on deck for you guys. We'll be sure to get to that. And a bunch of other folks in the chat just enjoying and having a great time. And someone else who looks like he's having a great time, as I can see here on the Switcher view I have, is our producer, Pat, co-producer, Pat. Pat, what's up? How are you doing?
Hey, Christian. Having another amazing day, here in October, getting ready for Halloween and celebrating it with none other than the Pine Boys. And I think we're having a great time listening to their music. What do you say?
We're having a blast. And, man, we could do this all night. But we have questions for him because, as you know, we're inquisitive people here. And, well, Pat, what do you got for the guys tonight?
Man, I have no idea exactly where to start. I want to ask this one question, and hopefully, I get an interesting answer. But just based on some of your lyrics that we have here tonight, I'm just curious, like, if you guys are all in on like Adult Swim, little Aqua Teen Hunger Force and stuff like that. Is that sort of a little bit of a sense of your kind of style? Is kind of like, a narrative in that kind of vein?
I love that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew is the lyricist of the band there, but I will say, I think the three of us share the sentiment that I absolutely love Adult Swim. It's in all its eras back in the days, harkening back to the days when I did have access to cable. Now I catch what I can on HBO Max. But the, oh my God, just the old school C-Lab 2021. I was just talking about that recently with Brett. And I love 12-Ounce Mouse, Aqua Teen, of course, and just all those old school, just poorly drawn Adult Swim cartoons are amazing. Incredible.
Poorly drawn is key there, isn't it?
Yeah, those are the best ones. Those are the most ridiculous ones. Like the ones that are too polished are like, they're usually the humor is a little bit too polished as well in those.
Yeah, I agree. The crudeness, it's endearing and charming.
Right.
And it's supposed to be. It's kind of nice to see art doesn't have to be perfect to be something that's like broadcast to a large audience. And I think that's cool. I think we all get caught up in being perfectionists and, trying to fine tune every single detail. I know we're guilty of that here in many ways. Sometimes you just got to put the art out there and just let it kind of take on its own life.
Yeah.
It's in God's hands at that point.
Well said. It's in God's hands. So you guys took an album from your hands from the privacy of the Pine Boys creative process and recently released it to all of us. The new record, Gleam, if I'm correct, and I know I am because I'm on top of it tonight. So what can you guys tell us about that record? And where can folks hear it and check it out? And what was the creative process like for that?
Yes, well, we are always writing new stuff. We're working on some stuff beyond Gleam just the other day, but some good songs came together about a couple years ago, and Sam has been contributing some awesome songs. I think we all bring a little bit of an idea into something, and the three of us together make it what it really becomes. But the seed of Gleam was one day we were arguing about the Water Slide World theme song, that commercial, the old Water Slide World, and there's a word at the very end of it, and there's a lot of controversy about what it is. Some people think it's smile, and some people think it's gleam.
And feel.
Or feel, yeah. So like on Reddit, there's a bunch of stuff. And, we had an internal debate, and we said that might be a good title. So from there, a lot of inspiration, just water slides, water scenes, and John Popper from Blues Traveler.
Oh, don't get me started on John Popper.
We're getting you started.
I think he is criminally underrated. Don't tell me he has 2 hits. That just tells me you haven't listened to 4 or anything else prior, the 3 albums prior.
No, it's John Popper, Miles Davis.
Okay, you're allowed to have that, I would say there's a few people between the two. I wouldn't say John Popper's the top of the mountain, but he's certainly great. So, the new record, as per usual, I would say with a Pine Boys release, it covers a multitude of styles. Is there a central theme? Is there a certain vibe or feeling you were trying to tackle? Talk to me about that part of the process.
Yes, there's definitely no genre. We're never like we're gonna make a country album, or we just have a lot of ideas. If we like it, if there's a lot of groove, if we're digging it, gets on the album. But there's this very small town in the Adirondacks that not many people know about, not many people can get to. It's very hard to get. It's called Vacation Land. And we spent some time there, and there's a lot of interesting and weird people there, weird things happen, and that really is what we write about a lot. What happens in that town. So there's several things in Gleam that are directly from Vacation Land.
Every word in
Real
Gleam
life.
is completely true. Everything you hear. True stories.
It really
all of it.
happened.
From your experience there?
Yes.
Yeah, yep.
Interesting. So this is like an abandoned theme park,
Kind
No.
of, yeah.
kind of. And what did you do? What did you do there while you were there?
No, it's a town. It's a town
Oh,
of
it's a town.
people, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
There is an abandoned amusement park in the town, but
There. Okay, so there's an
beside the
abandoned
point.
amusement park in the town, but it's a town you can actually go to and hang out in.
Yes.
In New
And-
York.
Yes, it's in Adirondacks. You can
Interesting.
Google it. And also,
Wow.
yeah, the song we played a little while ago, Meat Connection, is the train to get there. That's the only way you can get there. So we're not allowed to say anymore.
right.
Understood.
Wow, that's pretty cryptic, but I guess we'll have to listen to your tunes and go from there. Like maybe we'll figure out the full mystery from there. With that said, since you have this sort of muse, so to speak, and you get some inspiration from it, why don't you detail a little more about your creative process and just like how a song comes to life, how you workshop it as a team and really decide on the final version of that tune.
So usually in the past, I'll have a riff, or Saron will have a riff, and or a song idea completed, and we'll bring it to practice and workshop it that way. But Gleam was kind of different in the sense that a lot of the songs were made when all three of us were in the room together. So it wasn't so much as, all right, here's this song that's done that I wrote, or Saron wrote, or Sam wrote. Make some parts for it. It was more of, the three of us in the room together.
Yeah.
And that's not something you normally do, in other words.
Right.
Yeah. And speaking from my experience, I know like I said earlier, I only joined the band a few weeks after they started, and now it's been years. But even at that point, those two, they had a almost fully fleshed out catalog of at least ideas that were, pretty well completed. And so I spent, the good part of a year or two just making keyboard parts for everything that we did have at that point, and just making the songs that you typically will hear today. So it's like, those two were the primary, just writing everything. And Andrew, like I mentioned earlier, is the lyricist. And so a lot of times we would go to practice and they would be like, check out this new riff, check out this new idea, check out this new song I wrote, check out these lyrics. And then, we would just kind of jam for a while. We would jam on these songs for like, a half hour straight until something memorable came out, and we would record it on our phone. And Brett, for some reason, would record it on the video recorder on his phone instead of just the audio recorder, and he would have it face down on his amp. And I'm like, Brett, you're wasting so much hard drive
takes
space.
up a lot of space on the phone.
Yeah, but you know what? It's probably like a little higher quality.
Maybe.
That's a good point.
So
Maybe.
maybe Brett knows something that the rest of us should be doing.
That could be.
No, that's awesome. Andrew, what's like your part in that process of you guys all being in the same room together?
Yeah, and I think for this recent album, we had a lot of these songs that we were playing live for like almost a year by the time the album came out. And I think we developed a lot of stuff live, like a lot of my favorite bands, like jam bands do. And I think it shows. I think there's some organicness and there's some more... Yeah, I think some of the parts and the things on the album are a little bit organic. But I think recently we've made a concerted effort to, as Brett was saying, not have a finished song. I think a lot of times it starts with one person has a little idea and it becomes something much more. I think it really shows, and you can hear all of our hands in it because we all have much different sounds and things. And I really love that. It's not just one primary song. We're very all involved in the process.
That's great. That's really cool, and it does feel like you guys wrote it in the same room. When you play those songs in specific, I do feel like there's a give and take element to all your music, but just hearing you guys jam and rock out on these newer tunes, I feel like I can kind of pick up on that vibe. As I've heard the songs, thankfully, about like 20 times each, because they'd be on repeat regardless. So at least I get to hear the real McCoy in person. I think we kind of messed up, guys. We said pumpkins, right? Because it's Halloween and all that. But people are just naturally dropping corn in the chat. And,
Yes.
and I think that's a fitting emoji, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So we have Bean in the chat dropping some corn.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, Ruvo, and so many more. And alumni of our band show, we always appreciate when you guys support. And we hope that you guys are doing well out there in Phenomenon. They have a question. And Mike wants to know, is that a UFO on your guitar, Andrew?
No. This is actually one of the three it's a logo of the Eye of Lord Pine. It's kind of a long story, but
The Eye of Lord Time?
Lord Pine.
Pine.
Yes.
Ooh.
This is another, from vacation land tree that was cut down on of Indian reservation, and it came to life and killed some people. We made a deal with him that we started a band and kind of talked about him and spread the word. He wouldn't do anything to us. So, our first album, The Ghost Pine, is an ode to him, and there's 3 eyes representing the 3 pieces of the Pine Boys, and this is our logo.
We all answer to someone.
Exactly.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a graphic novel in the works, and with the way that one of you guys can draw, it seems pretty attainable. So before we jump into our next batch of songs, I have not forgotten about our comments about Adult Swim and that kind of like beautifully crude artwork, and I was so thrilled to learn that someone in your own band is quite the artist themselves. What can you guys tell me about some of the artworks?
Well, I'm not very good at drawing. Given the time I've been doing it, like you think I should be getting better, but I'm not. Oh.
I disagree.
Okay. No, but in the beginning, the first couple albums, I would do the artwork for it, and we just kind of like to keep it like a certain aesthetic. So, my style of drawing and just bold colors. And just to kind of keep like a theme, like an aesthetic going. So
That very eye was a creation of Mr. Brett Maney.
That's awesome. Incredible. I love how we just keep unpacking the many layers of creativity of this pine cone that you guys have brought us here. So with that said, I think the only thing we could do here is we could talk all night, and of course Elizabeth in the chat says all hail Lord Pine. Yeah. But I want more music. Would you guys indulge us for another set here? Perfect. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive back into some more amazing tunes from the Pine Boys. Don't go anywhere. We're still rocking and rolling on this beautiful Saturday night. This is the Pine Boys live on our band show. Take it away, guys.